Good morning, my dear children. Today we are on the last part of our third chapter, Turkish invasions. In the previous video, we discussed about Muhammad of Ghazni, and in this video, we are going to study about Muhammad of Ghor, and then what are the results of or the impacts that happened during the coming of Turks, and then we will study about the reasons of the defeat of Rajput rulers. So these are the three topics which we are going to discuss in this part of our class. So first we will start with Muhammad of Ghor. Who was Muhammad of Ghor? He came from Ghor. It was a state in Afghanistan. And Ghiyasuddin Ghor was the first ruler, or when he became the ruler, he was a ruler of a small state, and he was defeated by Muhammad of Ghazni many years before, and he was his vassal. And after many years, this area, after the death of Muhammad of Ghazni, after 150 years, this Muhammad of Ghor became the ruler, and he came to India for invading India 150 years after Muhammad of Ghazni. So here we are going to study about what forced him to come to India and what are the wars fought by him, and all these things are the main topics which we are going to discuss in this chapter. Now, what are the two reasons why he came to India? The main reason was that he wanted to establish a Muslim empire in India, and he came to India due to another reason is his empire was a country where natural resources was less. So he want natural resources and for maintaining his army, and his country was a militaristic state. So for collecting the revenue, he started imposing revenue in some of his states, and that made him unpopular. And later, what happened? He was forced to come to India. He heard about India, that India is a very prosperous country. So he came to India, came to Gujarat, then Punjab. He defeated so many places there, and slowly he started defeating so many places in India. And like that, in the year 1178, he defeated Gujarat, and 1190 he defeated Punjab. So after this, we are going to study about the main topic of our chapter, that is the first battle of Tarain and the second battle of Tarain. The first battle of Tarain was fought in the year 1191 AD, and the second battle in 1192 AD. In the first battle of Tarain, Prithviraj Chauhan and Muhammad of Ghor fought with each other, and Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad of Ghor. And then in the second battle of Tarain, what happened? Muhammad Ghor, he succeeded in winning this Prithviraj Chauhan. So these 2 years are very important, and the first battle of Tarain and second battle of Tarain and its consequences are also very important. Now we will study about the next important war fought by him, and that was in the year 1194 between Jayachandra, and the war is called Battle of Chand War. And in this Battle of Chand War, Jayachandra and Muhammad of Ghor fought with each other, and Jayachandra was defeated by him. So these three battles are very important. First battle of Tarain, second battle of Tarain, and battle of Chand War. So you have to study all these three and its years. Then it's a PowerPoint presentation is there along with this class, and you can watch that. In that important points are given. Now we'll move to the next part, that is what are the reasons for the success of Turks. So when we talk about the reasons for the success of Turks, we can say that there are so many reasons are there, and more than the plus points of Turks, there were so many minus in our hand, that is in the side of Indians or in the hands of Rajputs. So what are the negatives here? Those people, when the Turks came to India, their aim was to loot or take the wealth from India, and they were not having any other choice. So they fought for their life, or fought for the wealth and their life. But Indians consider it only as a tournament, or to show their warfare, to show their war elephants, their horses, and all the weapons. So they never took it seriously. The second one is lack of unity among soldiers. It's a very important point. During that time, feudalism was followed. Feudalism means during that time, the land was given to a group of people like landlords, and these landlords were look or they used to maintain a group of army. And when the king asked them, they have to give these troops to the king. So this feudalism was another reason for that, because these soldiers were not having any nationality or national feeling was not there. They are only interested to fight because their landlord asked them to do that. So it is just their job. There was no patriotism or there was no love for their country. So here Turkish soldiers were less in number, but they were organized, and on the other hand, the Indians, it was not organized one. And the Indian society, it was divided into so many classes, so many caste divisions are there. So that is another reason for the defeat of India. So all these are the main reasons what made the Turks succeed in the war. The third one is impact of Turkish invasion. What are the impacts? Impacts are on their food, our culture, our art, the tradition, everything was influenced by the Turks. Their whatever things are brought by them, etc. So in the last part, we can see that when Muhammad of Ghor left India, he made Qutbuddin Aibak as the first viceroy of India, and there it started the Sultanate Empire or the Mamluk Empire. After the death of Muhammad of Ghor, this Qutbuddin Aibak, he became free and he started the empire, or he started ruling India from Delhi, and that was the beginning of a Muslim rule in India or a Sultanate in India, and Qutbuddin Aibak became the first ruler, and along with that we can see that so many new things was introduced, means it became a mixture of culture, of Islamic culture and Indian culture. So that is all about the first part of our class. Now we will move to the next part of our class, where you can see the PowerPoint presentation.
Mahmud Ghori. Muhammad Ghori, the ruler of Ghor in Afghanistan. He attacked India after a gap of 150 years after Muhammad of Ghazni's death. He made the first systematic attempt to found a Turco-Afghan empire in India. So that is the most important thing which you have to remember in this portion. That is, Muhammad of Ghori was the first person who made the first attempt, a systematic attempt to found a Turco-Afghan empire in India. And during the time of his advent, or when he came to India, India was divided into many small kingdoms, which were generally engaged in mutual conflict. During this time, India was under the control of Rajput kingdoms. The 5 major Rajput kingdoms during that time are the Chauhans of Delhi and Ajmer, Rathors of Kannauj, Chandelas of Bundelkhand, Paramaras of Malwa, and Solankis of Gujarat. This portion you have to learn because it can be asked in the match of the following part. So again, 5 Rajput kingdoms are Chauhans of Delhi, Rathors of Kannauj, Chandelas of Bundelkhand, Paramaras of Malwa, and Solankis of Gujarat. Now we will move on to the next portion, that is the conquest of Muhammad Ghori. His conquest starts from 1175. He conquered Multan and Uch. In 1178, he invaded Gujarat, but he was defeated by King of Gujarat, and his name is Bhimadeva. By 1190, he conquered Peshawar, Lahore, and Sialkot. And the next one is very important, and that is the first Battle of Tarain. The first Battle of Tarain was fought between Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan. In this battle, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori, and this person, Muhammad Ghori, was seriously wounded and he escaped from there. He went back to his country and he lost his heart. He became very irritated and he became very sad. In the very next year, that is in 1192, he again invaded India and that we can call as the Second Battle of Tarain. In the Second Battle of Tarain, again Prithviraj Chauhan fought with Muhammad of Ghori, and it is in the year 1192. Very important year, you have to remember and you have to learn. In this battle, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by Muhammad Ghori. So Muhammad Ghori was defeated in the first battle, but in the second battle, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by Muhammad Ghori. Now the next war fought was Muhammad of Ghori defeated Jayachandra. He was the ruler of Kannauj, and after joining Kannauj with his territory, he went back to, or he returned to his country. And before he left India, he appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as the viceroy to look after the empire which he defeated, or which the big empire which he made was given in the hand of his slave called Qutbuddin Aibak. And he was a great warrior. We'll study about Qutbuddin Aibak in the slave dynasty or in the Mamluk dynasty in the next chapter. So don't forget this name. Now let's move on to the next part. In this portion you can see a map. In that you can see some writings are there. Extents of Mahmud's empire, area overrun by Mahmud. First one is of Mahmud's empire. You can see that area which was under his control, which is given in green color, which is given in brown color, which was under his control. It was under the control of Muhammad of Ghazni. You can see almost these areas were under the control of Muhammad of Ghazni and Muhammad of Ghor. You can see the portions here: Kabul, Ghor, Jhansi, all this Ghazni. All these places were under his control. He came to India, he defeated. Then this is something which says that how much area which is defeated by Muhammad of Ghazni during that time. And most of the places were not ruled by him. He left this place and mainly he came for plundering India. But I just show this map so that you can understand about the extent of his empire. Now after seeing this map, now we are moving to the next part of our chapter. We have already finished the campaign of Muhammad of Ghori. Now after this portion we are going to study about the impact of Turkish invasion. You can see the portions which was under the control of Muhammad of Ghazni, and now we will study about the impact of Turkish invasion. In that portion we will study about the comparison between Muhammad of Ghazni and Muhammad of Ghor, the causes of failure of the Rajputs and the Turkish invasion. What are the impact of Turkish invasion in our country? That is what we are going to study in this portion. Impact of Turkish invasion. Mahmud of Ghazni did not establish an empire in India. He was a person who was not interested in establishing an empire in India. He started raiding or started looting India or taking the wealth from India. His raids opened the northwestern gates to India for the foreigners. He was a person who opened the gates of India for the foreigners. The next one is many temples and statues of gods and goddesses were destroyed as a result of Muhammad of Ghazni's invasion. The third portion or the third impact is, as a result of Turkish invasion, a number of colonies of Muslim traders sprang up in some of the towns in North India. And that is a third impact of Turkish invasion. Now the next one is something related to religion. The Islamic preachers, they are called Sufis. They came to India. They preached the gospels of love, faith and dedication to one God. Their teachings influenced so many local people, and this led to the interaction of Islamic and Hindu religion, and thus resulted in the formation of a composite culture. And that what we will study in the next chapter, that about the composite culture which emerged in India, which is a harmony of both Hinduism and Islamic culture. The next one is, they paved the way for the establishment of Turco-Afghan Empire in India. So these are the impacts of Turkish invasion. We can see the first three are Muhammad of Ghazni. He established an empire in India and he looted. The temples and statues were destroyed, and as a result Turkish invasion, so many traders or small trade groups sprang up in the northern part of India, and a group of Sufis came to India and they started preaching about the gospels of God. and that led to the beginning of a composite culture, and along with that they paved the way for the Turco-Afghan empire in India. So these are the impacts of Turkish invasion. Now let's see the difference or ideological difference, or what was the difference between Muhammad of Ghazna's invasion and that of Mahmud Ghor. Muhammad Ghazni was a more successful warrior than Muhammad Ghori, as he never suffered a defeat in India or in Central Asia. But on the other hand, Muhammad of Ghori, he was defeated by Prithviraj Chauhan. We know that in the first battle of Terrain, and he was also defeated by King of Gujarat and some of the Rajputs. Now, Muhammad of Ghori, his raids, he raid or the raid of Muhammad of Ghazni were aimed at obtaining the wealth of India. His aim was to take wealth from India. Muhammad Ghori was interested in conquering North India and not merely plundering the wealth. So he wanted to make an empire in India, and Muhammad of Ghori, he was not interested to make any empire in India, but he just wanted to plunder or loot the wealth of India. And on the other hand, Muhammad of Ghori, he was interested to make an empire. Muhammad of Ghazni used to return to Ghazni after the raids. But to Muhammad Ghazni, he go back to his empire after every raid. But Muhammad of Ghori, he used to return after the invasion, but he used to leave his general to look after the territory which he defeated, and he appoints some of his generals or some of his men to look after that area. That is the difference between Muhammad of Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori. Now we are on the last topic of our chapter, that is causes of the failure of Rajput. Why Rajputs failed in front of these Turkish people. The first one is the Turkish army mainly concentrated on cavalry, and that puts depend on the other hand, this Rajputs, sorry, it's written there puts, it is Rajputs, they depended on elephants. The feudal nature of the society was another reason for the decline of Rajputs. And due to the during the fight, the king have to ask each and every time he have to ask the feudal lords to give the army, because king was not having a standing army. The rulers had no standing army, and they depend on feudal lords for providing troops. The feudal lords fought against themselves. These battles weakened the empire. So these are the main reason for the cause, or these are the main reason for the failure of Rajputs. The first one is Turks were using cavalry. On the other hand, Rajputs were using elephant. The feudal nature of the society was another reason. The rulers have no standing army, and the feudal lords were fighting always with each other, and that is the main. Or there was not a bonding between the feudal lords, and that is the main reason for the defeat of this people. So this is the end of our chapter, and your question answers and the exercise which is given at the back of the textbook will be uploaded soon. You can read the textbook, and some fill-up questions are given here. You can write it at the in your copy. After reading the chapter, you can write these question answers or exercise questions. Only 5 questions, and you can write the question answers also when it is uploaded. Now, just to see the questions. The second battle of Terrain was fought in the year dash. Muhammad Ghori appointed dash as his viceroy to look after his empire in India. 3. The soldiers to fight on horseback are called dash. Muhammad Ghori defeated dash in the second battle of Terrain. Muhammad Ghori made the first systematic attempt to found a dash empire in India. So these are some exercises, and you can study whatever questions and whatever exercise are given at the back of the textbook. It is necessary to study words to know and understanding the chapter. All these exercise along with the picture study answers will be uploaded soon, and before that you can read the textbook and you can find the answers yourself, and when I give the answers you can see that is it correct or not. So study the textbook well and wait for the question answers.